control the court. In the third set, Graf found herself facing match point. And in one fell swoop, it was over. The American had advanced to her first Grand Slam final, and the defending champion was eliminated, left to ponder her recent slump.
They're all playing well. I mean, they always play good matches, but I don't think I was playing too well lately. And I've done better than I'm doing right now, that's for sure.
Steffi Graf, just a few years removed from being a teenage phenom herself, now at 21, she's left to explain anytime she doesn't win the entire championship. So 14-year-old Jennifer Capriati better enjoy it while she can, while it's still fun, and when people don't ask questions when you finally lose. We'll walk through Jennifer's first trip to Wimbledon when we come back right after this.
Come on, baby, shake, it. Come on up, oh, lot of shaking going on.
Over the fortnight, we've covered the winners and the losers, but sometimes the best stories don't make it to the finals. 14-year-old Jennifer Capriati got to the round of 16. She captured our hearts this summer, playing top-level tennis in Rome, Paris, and then again here in London. Chris Everett looks at Jennifer's incredible summer. Chris?
Come September, Jennifer Capriati won't be short of information to fill her summer essay. Along with her parents and brother Stephen, they began their European tour.
Yeah, this is Jen Cap here. My favorite song is Can't Touch This.
Can't touch this.
Jennifer learned that you can go anywhere as long as you take your powerful ground strokes and a good Walkman. She also learned glamour isn't all that easy. Okay. Okay, now we'll hold her and then she can model. That looks really nice. And along the way, Jennifer taught a few lessons too.
Forehand, backhand, slice, top, overhead. You can't hit it no.
From Paris, it was lessons on being in the public eye. And by the time she got to Camp Wimbledon, Jennifer was a media darling, with all her expectations met in just half a fortnight.
It felt great. It was just a moment, a tournament that I will never forget, mainly because it was my first time, and my first time I even got to be on center court. And it was a great feeling. I mean, I never even thought they would put me on center court, and plus I had a curtsy too, and I was afraid I'd trip or something, but I didn't, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a great experience I'll never forget.
In 1962, Billie Jean King was knocked out by Margaret Court. I got a good lesson in the semis from Yvonne, but I repaid the lesson to a young Tracy Austin 5 years later. So Jennifer isn't the only one to get knocked out by a champion her first time around. With tennis taking up so much of her time during the day, her other love, music, took up her nights. And Jennifer Capriati bounced to the beat of another ball.
I see that Prince makes an appearance on the T-shirt. Is he your main man? Musically, of course?
He now is. He wasn't before, definitely not before, but I just went to his concert last night, and I thought it was great. It was fantastic, and now I love the guy.
Tonight? What are you doing tonight?
I'm going to the Rolling Stones, so I'm like a concert freak now.
So Jennifer Capriati rolled over Europe this summer. Her experiences will undoubtedly last a lifetime, with plenty of sweet reminders to fill an essay and a scrapbook that will be cherished forever.
Of course, there's a flip side to all this attention and success. As a tennis teenager, Andrea Jaeger is an example of that, and eventually, as we continue here from Wimbledon, we'll catch up with Andrea Jaeger, who at 25 is now several years removed from tennis glory. We'll also have Chris Everett's look at the art of the drop shot, and Bud Collins pays a trip to Churchill's War Room a half-century after the London Blitz. But when we come back, a key question: what's all this grunting going on the tennis court? We'll leave it to Bud after this. by Martina Navratilova, her record 9th over a very spirited Zina Garrison. You know, as we've watched these championships, we've experienced the familiar sights of Wimbledon, flashes of white against green. But when it comes to the sounds of Wimbledon, there have been some surprising developments. Who better than Bud Collins to check it out?
What could be more serene than tennis on an English green? Such a placid game, isn't it? Wasn't it? Or at least until Moanin' Monica Seles, the grandiose grunter, came along. Why, Monica? Why these, shall we say, unladylike noises?
I think it's just because I give 100% to each point, and I just give it and the air comes out.
The air used to come out for U.S. champion Tracy Austin in a different way. A squeak.
Well, Tracy did something like,
That was it, I recall.
Hello, Floyd. Hello, Bob. How are you, Floyd? I'm fine, Bob. Can you give me a haircut, Floyd? Oh, it'd be my pleasure, Bob. Can you trim the sideburns? Floyd? Oh, yes, it would be an honor, Bob. How much do I owe you? Floyd? What's on the house, Bob?
You know, yesterday I was at a party, and I saw Jackie Onassis there. And I figured I'd go over and break the ice and play a little party game. So I walked over to her and I said, do you remember where you were and what you were doing? And she just walked away. Boy, you talk about conceited. Let me tell all of you something about a nuclear holocaust. You think it's hard to get a cab now. True. Be harder, if not harder. Would it? Yes. Hickory dickory dock, a mouse goes up to the thing and he gets Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, she's eating the thing and then she gets Hey, what are you, pal? A homo? Ow! I was in bed with this broad. She turns to me, she goes, Hey, lady, are you with those guys? What, are you doing them one? Jack and Jill go up the hill. Jack turns to Jill. He goes, why don't you just let them go? I get through doing this broad. She turns to me. She says, hey, what is go? Jack and homo go up the hill. They meet Jill up there. Jill looks at the homo looks at her. She said,
John Heyman.
It's not as much as players, and they always, when they see me in the street, they point, that's the grunting Monica. And, you know, it's not the greatest thing to be recognized in the street.
But she's the French champion, so if you want to be a tennis player, forget topspin, get a grunt.
Well, what about all this noise breaking the genteel atmosphere at Wimbledon?
What? Huh? Got to get it. Everybody's got to have a grunt. That's the way it is. I don't think they'll be able to legislate against it. Unfortunately, we couldn't find some sound of the mother of the grunters. We know about Connors, Vicky Palmer, who was a young Arizonan in the early 1960s, and she could out-grunt Salas, I'll tell you that.
You can outdress just about anybody. Dick Enberg mentioned your pants before, and we didn't get a shot, so stand up. There you have it. Sorry to blind those of you at home who have just gotten up after sleeping late on a Saturday. Don't go anywhere, Bud, because when we come back, it's another of Bud Collins' travel log pieces. He'll take us to Churchill's War Room after the...
Wimbledon 1990 is brought to you by New Bud Dry, the first beer cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. And by Sharp Electronics. From sharp minds come sharp products.
Well, Bud Collins has done just about everything these last 2 weeks. Find time to write his columns for the Boston Globe, do play-by-play for us, player interviews, color commentary, and pieces around town, so he doesn't mind when we send him the draw when play began. When we come back, we talk about a familiar figure here. She was on the grounds cheering Martina Navratilova on, and we'll look back on her brief tennis career and catch up with her at age 25. That's next. Focus today was on the women's final, where Martina Navratilova at 33 played 26-year-old Zina Garrison. The teenagers who competed all were defeated earlier. The success of those who turned professional during their high school years does have a downside, though. What happens to these prodigies once injury or burnout occurs? One example is the now 25-year-old Andrea Jaeger, once a top 5 player.
In the best of times, she was a rising young star in the world of tennis. Her pigtails became the trademark of her youth. In the worst of times, she was thought of as a troubled, burdened child, dealing with the pressures of the adult world of pro tennis, labeled as a victim of burnout. Aspen, Colorado, a far cry from the intensity of the tennis tour. Here, nature is the focus. Life is peaceful and fulfilling with little or no pressure. This is where Andrea Jaeger has planted her roots. But when she left a tennis career behind, many fallacies remained.
I think the public just wanted it to be burnout. I mean, there's matches I played that I was injured and I never should have played. And I played them, and because of that, I wasn't 100%. So I was frustrated. So, it might have looked like, wow, Andrea's not having a lot of fun. And it's not a lot of fun when you love tennis and you want to play and you can't.
In fact, Andrea was dealing with quite a bit of pain. After numerous diagnoses, as well as misdiagnoses, followed by 5 operations on her shoulder, her doctors have yet to find a cure.
Maybe in a couple years, they'll make it so it won't hurt anymore. Professional tennis is out, but, maybe for a normal life, it might be in the future.
In her quest for a normal life, Andrea underwent her last operation less than a month ago. She has regular schedule of therapy 3 times a week, but it will be at least a year before she'll be able to get on the court and hit for the fun of it. When tennis was not just a recreational sport, but a career, it was the sole focus of Andrea's life. It also was the focus of her family's life. With her father, Roland, coaching her, tennis truly was a family affair. When I was younger, my father was my coach, and he was also my incentive. Did you try to win for your father?
I'm the type of person that wins for myself. Coaching a daughter and having them be on the professional circuit is never easy. It's something that's harder on the parent than it is on the child. For me, I feel bad for the torture that my parents had to go through because of me. They had to put up with a lot. I think after I stopped playing tennis, it was Roland, Ilsa, Roland, you were this, you were that, and it wasn't fair. The way you bring up your family, you don't touch family. And I think the public touched my parents a little bit too much.
What Andrea felt was unfair was the treatment she received from the press. By the time she was in her late teens, plenty was written. Controversy surrounded her. This was the result of open and telling articles like this one from Sports Illustrated, where Andrea was labeled as just going through the motions. And this one from Inside Sports, portraying Andrea as a kid with many troubles, calling her game spiritless and listless. What was the biggest misconception about Andrea Jaeger?
A lot of people portrayed me as maybe a disturbed young child in the world of adults. And instead, it was a child having fun playing in the world with adults. But no one really knew me, you know what I'm saying? It was something where it was very personal to me to be happy. And to be happy, it was easier for me to just be sort of to myself and not, expect anything from anyone else. Just expect to give whatever I can and be happy.
Andrea seems to have found tranquility in Aspen. Endorsements and prize money have allowed her a more than comfortable lifestyle. Now she's pursuing projects like her educational newsletter for kids. She's hoping the newsletter will be a vehicle to discuss issues relating to their lives. This newsletter may be the one link to her childhood, a childhood that was so precious to her, but one almost lost during her tennis career. Is Andrea Jaeger happy now?
I'm very happy. I have the best friends in the world. I can't, I can't expect more from them. I have the best family. My dogs are great. So I'm very excited about where I'm going.
Well, up till now on this final Saturday, the focus has been on the women. When we come back, we'll turn...
Displayed by Boris Becker, 2 points from losing this set, which would put him down 2 sets. And Jimmy Ivanisevic, discouraged by not taking a 2-set lead?
Oh, I'm sure he is, but that just shows that he is young, a little bit inexperienced still. He's got to regroup here. He's got to jump on top early.
Here goes the breaker. And Ivanisevic can yet claim a 2-set lead over the champion by beating him in the race to 7. Oh!
Well, Bud, this is Boris Becker. The way we saw him when he first came and started winning matches here at Wimbledon when he was 17 years old, diving and scraping to do whatever he could to get the ball back. Look at this, at full lunge, he slips and still at full lunge, makes contact with the ball and up on his feet.
However, it's a mini break right away against 3-time champion Boris Becker, one of those pied wagtails who have nested in center court, been bothersome.
You know what's great, Bud, is Becker, even though he's diving on the ground, he gets up, he thinks he should win those points.
He's won so many of them. And there is Mr. I, 2 points to 0. Will the Eyes have it in this tiebreaker?
Ivanisevic gives a little smirk or smile there. Becker now feeling the strain. He's down 2-love. He's fought back to get into a tiebreaker. He doesn't want to let this slip away.
To 0 for the 18-year-old Yugoslav. Young man from Split. The last semifinalist from his hometown, another left-hander, Nicky Pilic, 1967. But history means nothing here. It's man-to-man. Three points to 1 for Ivanisevic.
Becker taking a little bit off his first serve there, Bud. He knows the importance of getting the first ball in and closing close behind the net to play the first volley.
Three points to 2 for Ivanisevic, and the serve returns to him. Becker lost his serve. Ivanisevic then served for the set at 6-5, but couldn't hold off Becker despite being 2 points away. Now 3 points to 2 for the server. Woo.
Well, Goran Ivanisevic beaten by the sheer pace of Boris Becker's backhand.
3-0. Startling speed on that ball. 3 points all. So they're even on serve.
This is just what happened at the end of that first set. Ivanisevic serving for the set, had 30 all, played 2 very loose volleys. And the tiebreaker jumps off to a quick lead and now has lost that. He has to be thinking about that, Bud.
Becker winning the last 3 points. Just wide. Bundle of aces in his pack. 4 points to 3. Ivanisevic feeling a little better.
The pace of this match is incredible. Both players step up and get right to work. No time wasted.
Ivanisevic, who beat Becker in the opening round of the French Open. Points all.
Well, Ivanisevic won that match in Paris, but that's on Becker's mind here too. He doesn't want to let him get away with another victory, especially here at Wimbledon, where he has reigned as king for 3 years now.
Close to an ace. Ability of Becker kept the point going.
5-ball Becker.
What a great chance for Goran Ivanisevic. A ball around midcourt, maybe hesitated just a bit too long, but the mobility of Becker around the net today has just been superb.
Oh, he's got it. With it, 2 set points.
Becker makes a great return, but this is a shot that wins the point right here. He comes up and over a good volley that was deep to the baseline for a winning topspin lob.
6 points to 4 for Becker. Oh, and that drops on the baseline. Bad judgment.
Oh, you can't let those go, Bud.
1 second.
And the tiebreaker goes to Boris Becker. 7 points to 4. They're even.
Bud Collins and Jimmy Connors on the call. Becker goes on to win in 4 sets, 4-6, 7-6, 6-love, and 7-6. He's in the final tomorrow in pursuit of his 4th Wimbledon championship on the same day that his native West Germany goes against Argentina for the World Cup. We'll hear from Becker right after this. It's the men's final, Becker versus Edberg, and with a spot in that final assured, Becker sat down after yesterday's win over Ivanisevic to talk with Bud Collins.
Was this sort of a reverse mirror image today against Ivanisevic? He's a teenager. There was a teenager named Becker out here a few years ago. Becker was right-handed. This guy's left-handed. Is there a comparison?
Yes, during the match I was thinking about that fact, and I was just hoping he's not as cool as that guy was a couple of years ago.
And was he?
No. He missed by about 2 shots.
All right, here's the deal tomorrow. Becker versus Edberg, 9 a.m. Eastern time. And when we come back, Jimmy Connors previews that matchup. We told you earlier that it would be 7 a.m. for those of you out west, 9 a.m. in the Eastern time zone for the men's finals. Jimmy Connors previews that final matchup with 2 men who should be very familiar with each other. Here it is.
For the 3rd consecutive year, Boris Becker and Stefan Edberg will meet to determine the men's Wimbledon champion. This will be the rubber match of these 2 premier players. In 1988, it looked like Becker was headed for his 3rd title in 4 years as he won the first set 6-4. But in the 2nd set, Becker's game stalled and Edberg drew even. In the 2nd set tiebreaker, Edberg roared out and won the first 5 points. Edberg eventually won the set and in the process broke Becker's spirit. Give the nod to Edberg in the first battle. Edberg had triple set point against Becker. Not only did Becker win that point, he would win 12 of the next 13 points, including a key 2nd set tiebreaker. Edberg never regrouped from that flurry, and Becker got a handle on his 3rd title. Edberg and Becker get ready to slug it out on center court. Both playing great tennis. There will be no surprises here.
It's really a matter of who's got the best day and who really can put it together on the day. We both have good grass court games.
We know each other blind. We cannot put any different tactic. I think it's a question who is on a court with the better frame of mind and who is tougher with himself.
Stefan and Boris serving breakfast at Wimbledon. Get ready.
I know what you like now about Becker, whom you picked throughout the tournament. That nonchalance. He drops the top off the cup. Could have been a major faux pas. Picks it up, flips it in the air, and bags it on the 2nd try.
He's very casual, and his game is showing that right now. He has improved daily throughout this championship, and I'm sticking with him. I picked him earlier. I'm going with him in the final.
But Edberg, everyone agrees, is really peaking now. He's played better and better through the tournament.
Well, nobody can play better than Stefan Edberg did against Ivan Lendl. If his game continues that way against Becker in the final, you can't ask for anything more than that.
All right, Jimmy, thanks very much. And, of course, Jimmy will be on hand to help us call it tomorrow. When we come back, we bring Chris Everett in. She'll explain the art of the drop shot as we continue from Wimbledon right after these messages.
To you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by USF&G Insurance, protecting your business, home, auto, and life. USF&G standing behind the USA.
The subject now, class, is the drop shot. You're looking at Arantxa Sanchez in the near court. She is a master of the drop shot. There it is, putting the point away against that opponent earlier during the fortnight at Wimbledon. It isn't as eye-catching as the serve. It lacks the power of a passing shot, but the drop shot obviously requires a touch of finesse, and it's absolutely necessary to be successful. Our Chris Evert shows us why. Here's Chrissy.
The drop shot is one of the most underrated shots in the game. Most people don't take advantage of this shot. The obvious reasons for using a drop shot are when your opponent is very slow or when they're way, way behind the baseline. You can really get them by surprise. But there is a right and a wrong time to use the drop shot. You don't use the drop shot when you're way behind the baseline because it takes longer for the ball to travel over the net, which enables your opponent to get to the ball quicker. Also, when your opponent hits a hard shot, it's really difficult to take the pace off a hard ball, so that's not the right time either. The right time to use the drop shot, when you have any short or mid-court ball and your opponent takes the pace off the ball. Out of the corner of your eye, your opponent is looking at you expecting a really hard hit ground stroke. Instead, you're giving them a delicate touch drop shot. Use the drop shot. It'll add variety to your game.
Well, easy to say to all those weekend players out there, use it. It'll add variety to your game, but how tough to master?
Well, it was actually one of my favorite shots, the drop shot and the lob, because I wasn't the type of player that could go out there and overpower my opponents. I didn't have a big serve. I didn't have a forehand like Steffi Graf, so I tried a little finesse. It would be good and very effective against probably players like you, Bob, who don't move as well.
Almost anything. If you got it back over the net and then just waited for me to hit it into the net, that would probably be a useful strategy. You talked to Martina after her victory, and we're going to take this commercial break and come back and hear from Chris what Martina had to say immediately after capturing her 9th Wimbledon singles crown. Skillful and spirited though she was, Zina Garrison couldn't turn a Wimbledon hat trick. She beat the top seed, the 3rd seed, but couldn't take the 2nd seed, Martina Navratilova. She hits long off the backhand. It's match point, 6-4, 6-1, and Martina exults. She stands alone now, surpassing Helen Wills Moody's total of 8 Wimbledon singles championships, a record that had stood since 1938, as Martina takes her 9th. She watches it, and it's hers. Team Navratilova, which these days includes Billie Jean King, looking on with approval. And then Martina heads to the net and over it to congratulate Zina Garrison not only on a game performance today, but on a wonderful Wimbledon for her. The 5th seed from Houston makes it all the way to her first ever Grand Slam final. Okay, Chris Evert joins us now in the studio. Afterwards, you went to the locker room, talked with your friend and longtime adversary, Martina. What did you learn?
I asked Martina how she felt, and she said, try to wipe this grin off my face. So I think it's going to be there for a long time. She said she also felt like it wasn't realistic yet. You know, she had this surreal feeling of fantasy world, slow motion, so it's not a reality for her yet. It'll take probably a few weeks.
Dick Enberg characterized her as a relatively young woman, obviously at 33, elder statesman in tennis terms, but relatively young when you apply it to the outside world, and yet a woman with a sense of history, maybe beyond her years. And he said that it was important to her, and has been important to her, even when she first started out, to carve a place in history. Therefore, this one was especially sweet for her.
Well, it is, and she's always been aware of records. This has been a goal for her the whole year, so it'll be interesting to see what her next goal will be.
Was Zina on top of her game against Navratilova, and Navratilova was just that much better, or could Zina have tested her more?
Martina, I think that Martina just played so well, and everything she did worked for her. Zina, on the other hand, was maybe a little weary, a little flat. You know, she made a few more errors than she has in her previous matches. Maybe the occasion was a little too much for her, a little overwhelming for her, but Zina will be back on center court.
Okay, well, Zina Garrison was the first black American woman to make it to a Wimbledon final since Althea Gibson won it back-to-back in 1957 and 58. Althea Gibson flew across the Atlantic to be here, and she'll be with us right after this.
Today we'll talk more about proper tennis procedures. Let's begin. Never try to hit too hard. In tennis, conservative attire is a must. Avoid overexcitement. An to go through this one more time.
Known as Air Jordan. Greens, he could sink them too. Michael Jordan, Kenny Rogers, Dan Marino, Joe Namath, and more. The best golfers from the worlds of sport and entertainment tee off for $400,000 at the first ever Celebrity Golf Championship.
A look at Althea Gibson here 33 years ago as Bud Collins joins us.
And she could serve, she could get to that net and volley, winning her first Wimbledon title. And not many of those rare picture of Fingers Fortescue, only one in existence, the net judge, against Darlene Hard, another American, Californian, and it's Althea, the victor. And I wonder how she felt at that moment.
Well, she's here to tell us.
I felt absolutely exalted. Great. I mean, especially since the Queen of England was there.
And that is rare because the Queen does not like tennis.
She doesn't?
No, she didn't reappear until 1977 to watch Virginia Wade win.
She liked that day.
You know, Althea, when you arrived here today, some casual observers were remarking that your face was transformed when you returned here and saw the Wimbledon grounds. I don't know how long it's been since your last visit, but it seemed like coming back to the scene of past glories was a moving experience for you.
Yes, it was '84 the last time I was here for celebrating the 100th centenary of women at Wimbledon. And I was just amazed at being on center court, and I wanted to see remind myself of the positions that I took when I was serving to the forehand side and service to the backhand side, because the backhand side, you see, I had one of the serves that no other girl have today, the American twist, which takes the player way off court on the ad court. And with my long legs, I can get to the net and put the ball away easily.
Who else had the American twist besides Chubby Checker a few years later?
Karen Hance had a pretty good one when she won in 1962.
She did? Yeah, well,
but yours was a spectacular serve, Althea. But I wonder, what were your thoughts when you first came to Wimbledon, when you first played here?
Oh, well, listen, I was, well, you know, I hadn't thought about that. But my main thought when I first came to Wimbledon, and I told myself, I said, I was in the ladies' locker room, and I don't think it was the one that the girls use now. I think it was another one, because I was a new person. So
yes, it was in the basement.
In the basement.
You were in the basement.
That's right.
You soon got to the penthouse.
I suddenly, thinking about my first round match, I got sick. And then I was sitting in the, on the edge of the tub, and my head was in my hand, and I was saying to myself, I said, Althea, all you're going to do today, all you're going to do, now promise yourself, is just watch that ball. Don't listen to no calls, don't acknowledge no names or anything. Obey what the officials call and just watch the ball. And I watched the ball, and I wanted to set like love and something. Win the match.
We talked about it yesterday, so we don't want to go over all that ground again, but for those who weren't with us, even though you were concentrating so hard on tennis alone, back in 1957 and 58, did you face any direct examples of bigotry? Were you barred from any of the privileges that the other players enjoyed?
Not here. No.
Not here.
Not here. No,
but
I don't think so.
But in America it happened, didn't it? You weren't invited to some tournaments. It was as simple as that.
Of course. I was invited to some tournaments. So I didn't play at them until then Alice Marble, the great Alice Marble, wrote letters to the USTA, at that time the USLTA, admonishing their not letting me enter because of my color.
And then with your mentor, Dr. Walter Johnson, who skillfully negotiated, you'd been the American Tennis Association, predominantly BRAC Association champion for many years. 1950, you showed up at Forest Hills for the U.S. National Championships. What was that like?
Oh, that was something else. It was. I still have a picture of Alice Marble walking, escorting me out to the court, and I'm not sure if that was the day that I played Louise Brough.
Yeah.
And the rains came.
With a storm.
I think I had won the first set or something.
Yes.
And it was as if our Creator didn't want me to win. So all of a sudden, a great storm came over, and lightning came in and struck that eagle off of the stadium court and struck it and knocked it down on the court that we were playing. So our match had to be suspended because I was beating Louise that day.
A champion. She had been a champion. She had been a Wimbledon champion.
What happened when you resumed?
When I resumed, I was cold as a fish.
we got to run, but you look so great, and people can figure out. I'm not telling secrets. We gave your age when you won in '57, so people can figure out. Go ahead.
I'm happy to be 62.
You're 62, yes. And you look like a million. What do you do to keep in shape?
I'm playing golf almost every day.
What's the handicap?
Enough, are you? My handicap is 6.
Down to 6, and you told me you're hitting a 250 off the tee.
Yes.
All right.
I only play with men.
Think about that for a while. We come back with some final thoughts. Wrapping things up from Wimbledon right after this.
Wimbledon, Nike, who reminds you to just do it. By IBM. Whatever your size, whatever your needs, IBM is working to bring you the best solutions. By Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a thorough test drive, phone your nearest BMW dealer.
London, a city that exudes history, and Dick and Bud, we saw a slice of tennis history here today.
Well, in the records, it's a day for left-handers. Martina is one of only 3 women who have southpaws who have won the championship. Kay Stammer's a Brit, and Ann Jones, another British player, have won it. She's won more than any man or any woman, and she broke another record today, shared by Helen Wills Moody and Susan Longland, the 4th time that Wimbledon has been won without dropping a set.
That's incredible what she did. But she's still got a few records to go, you know. This was her 11th final, but she's still behind Blanche Bingley Hilliard, who was a semifinalist in 1912 at the age of 48. I don't think they played quite the game in those days.
Yeah, but she may be going at 48, Martina.
Well, you never know, because they wore those whalebone corsets and the long skirts, and it was very difficult. But I think we ought to salute Helen Wills Moody, I hope she was watching today, along with her opponent of 1938, Helen Jacobs, both still living. 6-4, 6-love was the score for Helen Wills, and Helen Jacobs was tremendously courageous that day. 8th title for Wills. Helen Jacobs had ruptured her Achilles tendon. She refused to stop. Hazel Whiteman went down to the court and said, "Helen, please default." She said, "No, I'm going to finish this match." And she did.
And a final thank you to Zina Garrison, because she brought Althea Gibson back. Wasn't she a delight?
And didn't she have a wonderful Wimbledon, despite the loss in the final? You can't take away the victories over Sellis and Graf. So exciting, and tomorrow we expect more of the same. For Dick Enberg, Bud Collins, Chris Everett, and Jimmy Connors, I'm Bob Costas. Later this afternoon on NBC, it's the Anheuser-Busch Golf Classic from Williamsburg, Virginia. And then we're back here from Wimbledon one final time. The men's singles championship tomorrow. Boris Becker versus Stefan Edberg. Breakfast at Wimbledon, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And as we leave you on this Saturday, a final tribute to Martina Navratilova, who now stands alone atop the Wimbledon summit with 9 singles titles.
Taken in an Oriole game. I still say to Jackie Joyner Kersey's the greatest athlete, man or woman, walking the face of the earth. And for sheer electricity, you give me Biondi and Jaeger in the 50-meter free. Slightest mistake kills you. I see things from a fan's perspective because I'm one of them. It's my #1 qualification for hosting the good
day for Martina at Wimbledon, and we'll tell you about the DMV.
That, I'll tell you. Yeah. Well, I'm all for welcoming Mr. Brown here to our set on the weekends. Rick Lozano has day off, and you're going to start by talking about Wimbledon? Or?
Wimbledon, yes, indeed. Martina Navratilova was looking for a record 9th Wimbledon singles title. Zina Garrison was looking to win in her very first trip to the Grand Slam final. Well, experience won out today as Martina Navratilova wrote her name into the record books. 5th seed Garrison, who beat 3rd seeded Monica Seles and top seeded Steffi Graf to get to the final, would have her troubles today with #2 seed Navratilova. Here's one of the top points of the match, and it illustrates some of the problems Garrison would have with Martina. Zina was ineffective around the net, and she made several errors on volleys. The 26-year-old player from Houston showed her frustration. After winning the first set by a score of 6-4, Martina takes the second set 6-1. Here's match point, gives Martina her record 9th Wimbledon singles title.
Is this the top?
This tops it all. Yes, absolutely. Because I've worked so long and so hard for it, and they say good things are worth waiting for, and this one definitely was.
Navratilova did it again. She won there for a record 9th time, beating Zina Garrison in straight sets 6-4, 6-1. It didn't seem that way today, but afterwards, Navratilova said this one was the toughest.
Celebrity has been urged by her management company to tone it down, lest it affect her image.
Now, what about your famous grunting?
What I said like a couple of months ago, that I don't want to go into the tennis history books as knowing the grunting first, and so I'm trying really to get rid of it.
It doesn't seem to be working. After watching her, the British tabloid press nicknamed Seles Little Miss Grunt. The grunting is particularly frowned on here at Wimbledon.
Marvelous Martina make it a record 9 wins on the grass courts.
Keith, over record for 3 years now at Wimbledon. Keith's here to tell us what happened finally.
Oh, what happened was, you know who the loser, Zina Garrison, one of her best friends is Robin Givens.
Oh.
She was in the stands.
I'm not even going to get into that.
Not making this stuff up. For the past 2 years, Martina Navratilova has indeed sought record-breaking Wimbledon singles title #9. Each time, West Germany's Steffi Graf has said 9. This year, however, with Fräulein Forehand, an upset victim in the semis, Martina decimated Zina Garrison to become the all-time queen of the All-England Club. Fashion update. This morning, Garrison abandoned her regular clothing line in favor of some new duds. Why? Well, Zina had been wearing clothes being marketed as the Navratilova line. And it didn't take long for Martina to take the starch out of the challenger herself. First set, she began to attack the net relentlessly. Garrison is perhaps the quickest player on the tour, but not quick enough. The match lasted an hour and 15 minutes, would have been 45 minutes, except Zina takes so darn long to serve the ball. It often came back a lot faster than it left. The service return sets up the backhanded passer. Perhaps Navratilova had the feeling this would be her last chance to best Helen Wills Moody's mark for singles crowns, or perhaps it was simply relief at not having to face Graf this year. Whatever the reason, Martina played as well as ever she has at center court. And so to history. Martina breaking the tie she held with Moody and becoming the most successful singles player ever to swing a racket, and the world's most important sporting event for tennis fans. Navratilova has maintained all along her goal is to be recognized as the greatest ever to play the sport. And today she laid further claim to that title. Strange day in
a final here, since Althea Gibson won 2 titles in the 50s, was agile and daring. But Martina Navratilova, gunning for her record 9th Wimbledon singles title, was invincible. She won in straight sets, never lost her serve, never lost a set in the entire tournament. Hail to the Queen. The best
bed early because the excitement starts very early tomorrow morning.
Well, it'll be a tape delay for us, but 7 a.m., Wimbledon men's final. Stefan Edberg and Boris Becker will decide the men's title at Wimbledon. That match will likely have all the drama that the women's final lacked. Martina Navratilova was in no mood for any extra drama. 5th-seeded Zina Garrison was the last obstacle between Martina and a record 9th singles title. Garrison had done a good job of taking out the other obstacles herself. She upset top-seeded Steffi Graf and 3rd-seeded Monica Seles. Martina Navratilova was on a crusade to recapture this championship after losing 2 years in a row to Graf. Won the first set 6-4. This is match point in the second set, and Garrison hits it long. Martina watches it go over her head, and with it, the weight of 2 years of trying to prove she is not over the hill. Navratilova wins her 9th singles title. That's a record. Then before the presentation, goes up to celebrate with her entourage, including Billie Jean King, who coaxed her back to the top. Jim Pugh and Rick Leach of the U.S. won the men's double title. Jana Novotná and Helena Sukova of Czechoslovakia won the women's doubles.
At all, yes, absolutely, because I've worked so long and so hard for it, and they say good things are worth waiting for, and this one definitely was.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mark Brown, filling in for the vacationing Rick Lozano. We begin with Wimbledon, where the grand dame of women's tennis proves she still has what it takes to win a Grand Slam. Martina Navratilova earned a record 9th singles title. 26-year-old 5th seed Zina Garrison was making her first appearance in a Grand Slam final. She beat Steffi Graf and Monica Seles to get there, but Zina ran into a brick wall named Martina. Navratilova broke her opponent's serve 4 times, 3 times in the final set, including match point. She won 6-4, 6-1, and it was an emotional moment when she lifted that Wimbledon championship plate, the one that put her in the record books to stay. Martina says she will be back next year to try for a 10th championship. After losing 2 in a row to the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Dodgers finally found a way to win.
Peaceful and fun. But the only way out is a long way down.
It's on. There you go. There you go.
Excellent.
Okay. There you go.
All right, Greg.